Coming up on tonight's episode of The Catching Pen, we relive a massive night of racing at the Meadows featuring the Top Gun and Top Gun Stayers finals. We look ahead to the Shootout and Tab Ipswich Cup finals, the latter carrying Group 1 prize money in the Sunshine State. And we venture across the ditch for their biggest week of the year, New Zealand Cup Week.
Welcome along to another episode of The Catching Pen, fresh off a week off for the Cup, obviously last week. Hope you had a fill up there, and the boys are back ready to get into some greyhound talk. Matty Jackson with me, Patch is down south. I'll touch base with Jacko first of all, mate. You had a bit of time off. How was that?
Yeah, it was really good. Spent a week over in Bali. Super hot over there.
Yeah.
I think I lost 3 or 4 kilos just from sweating and then put it back on with some drinking as well. So yeah, it was outstanding just to get away for a few days.
Yeah. Patch, I'll come down to you, brother. Big week about to kick off for you. Of course, the carnival's about to get into full swing. I thought of a really good analogy for your 4 big days coming up, especially for you, Patch. I mean, I think the Shootout, that's just like the last day of school. That's coming up on Saturday. Then you've got Christmas Eve's Cup heats. Christmas Day is obviously Cup final, and the away game, that's New Year's Eve for you. That's the Phoenix. How's the analogy?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I thought you might have run with last day of school being the Shootout, straight into, say, schoolies or valedictory on heats night, and then into schoolies on Cup night, and then fire off with New Year's, with of course at the Phoenix. But now, big period, not only for the club, but also for Victorian greyhound racing with the Dream Chasers Festival. So kicked off at the Meadows, obviously last Saturday with the Top Gun, which we'll speak all about. But yeah, good time of year. The weather's heating up. I'm getting some sunshine, so I'm starting to look like Hugh Moore is, and Jacko's probably starting to look a bit more like me. And sounds like he's got Bintang running through his veins as well.
Yeah, you could do a little bit more colour there, Patchy. But just before we obviously rip into the nitty-gritty, and just on what Patch said, I've got no recollection of schoolies. Mate, I know it's a greyhound show, but we always like to touch base on a few other aside notes, and I think the big one this weekend, I don't know if you didn't catch it, maybe you're living under a rock or not that big a horse racing fan, but the performance of Flightline to win the Breeders' Cup on Sunday, whether you've heard of Secretariat, never seen him race, he's the big name in American racing, and that win on the weekend drew comparisons. It was something else.
Yeah, it was. It was quite phenomenal when you look at the time breakdown. The first 1200 of his 2,000 metre race was faster than the Breeders' Cup sprint on the same day, which is quite hard to believe. And he ran away from them and was eased down late in the race. He's a superstar, retired of course, and then
the auction this morning.
It came out this morning that someone parted with 7 million Australian for a 2.5% share. So. Unreal. I think that values him at over 200 million, but as they said, because of the scarcity of the shares, that's probably exponentially priced it out. So they say about 170 to 180 million dollars worth of horse flesh. So yeah, wow, it's a bit sad that he's been retired, but when they're worth that, he's probably too expensive to send around, Jacko. Let's get into the news.
The Catching Pen News is brought to you by Darwin Greyhounds, racing every Sunday and selected Wednesdays.
Shout out to the boys up in Darwin. Let's get into the news. First cab off the rank, the retirement of Good Odds Cash. I'd also sort of throw Super Estrella into the ring here. I don't know if we've got it 100% confirmed she's retired, but those two superstar bitches I think we're unlikely to see, especially Good Odds Cash. I'll come to you for a comment. Firstly, Patch, ripping bitch. She probably played second fiddle to Pearl for the first half of the year this year, especially in most of the majors, but she finally got her due when she won the Nationals here, beating Simply Limelight.
100% right. She's been the star of New South Wales for a long period of time, as we know, almost $400,000 in prize money. And you're right, during that sort of April-May period, she was really humming and just wasn't able to pick up that big feature race win, with She's a Pearl doing her thing during that period. So it's just fitting that she's won a Group 1 and got that under her belt with the Nationals. So a really good position for Frank Hurst to be in from a breeding point of view. Of course, he's had the run of Good Odds Serrata, and now he's got Good Odds Cash from a female point of view that I'm sure he's searching far and wide for a suitable side for her.
I don't think, I don't think he'll die through lack of potential suitors, Patch, because she could well possibly be. It's all potential at this stage, isn't it, Jacko? But she's from arguably the best family in Australia, and she could well end up being a superstar brood bitch herself. Just quickly on Super Estrella, if it is the last time we see her, quick word on her.
Yeah, she was outstanding. She did it for a long period of time. Early on, it was more at the 600 metre range where she was just so dominant. She'd stepped up to 700. I think Miss Esme, who of course won the inaugural 7:15, probably had the wood on her at that distance, but the more racing that she did at the long trip, she got stronger, and then we just saw her go on that run over sort of July, August, September, where she was just unbeatable. And yeah, she'll be remembered as a great stayer, no doubt.
Yeah, another beautifully bred bitch who will no doubt be a wonderful brood. Our second news point, this relates to the announcement that Warhope, Greyhound Racing New South Wales, announced that they'll return to non-tab racing as well as trialling. This also comes on the back of potentially Greyhound Racing New South Wales trialling the drag lure at Richmond as well, Jacko. So it certainly does seem that they're listening to the feedback of participants, because as I said, when Warhope shut down, I was pretty vocal about it. It's obviously in my area, but I don't know a trainer that doesn't think Warhope's one of the best tracks in the state. So yeah, some really good news for participants, not only with the Warhope announcement, but as I said, if we can get the drag there at Richmond, it'll pay for itself just as an educational tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people have been calling for that drag lure at Richmond, so to see Greyhound Racing New South Wales listening to participants and trying a few new things to hopefully enhance the sport going forward is only a good thing.
Yeah. Third news item on Wednesday night, She's a Pearl finally broke Fiona Bale's all-time prize money record. Bit of a false alarm the week before, Patch, when she was unluckily beaten. We know that the prize money target's obviously, it's a moving target. While ever the sport evolves and more prize money comes in, that's going to keep evolving. So she's certainly not going to hold it forever, but for the meantime, she is the prize money record holder. And I guess, importantly, Patch, back in form, and that's good for racing here in Australia, because she's going to be one of the stars should she get down south.
Yeah, too true. I think no matter how or what sort of method you meet that sort of achievement, it certainly deserves a pat on the back. And you're right, as our sport grows, it progresses. That's why we've seen a number of changes in the baton handed over from the highest prize money earners over the past 5, 6, 7 years, and that's going to, of course, continue as time goes on. You only have to look at a field like the Top Gun last week, and I think there was close to $5 million in total earnings across the whole field. So it's an amazing position the sport's in, but I think your last point is the most important one. One of the sport's biggest names and best performed greyhounds back doing her thing and seemingly at her finest. So fingers crossed we do see her come down to Melbourne to target the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know that the bloke next to me, besides the 73 people that are involved in Pearl, is the biggest fan of She's a Pearl going, and he was a bit devastated not to have her win the week before and break the record then. Had a call all worked out, and we were likely to never hear it, Jacko. So there's the field. There's only 4 runners, so I reckon I could learn those. So I'll do the last news point. You quickly get your thoughts together, and we'll come back to you for the replay of Pearl breaking the record on Wednesday, and we'll get to hear Jacko's dulcet tones. The last news point relates to an announcement by Tas Racing that they've attached a $100,000 bonus to their 3 major races: the Chase, which is the old Devonport Cup, the Hobart 1000 and the Launceston Cup. Look, never knock anyone for putting bonuses, attaching bonuses to these big feature races, but Patch, I'll come to you for comment while Jacko loosens up the tonsils. It'll take some winning this one because, well, the last cup, the Launceston Cup's all the way in February, so it's a long way from the first leg, the Devonport Chase, the Launceston Cup. You'll absolutely deserve the 100K if you can get it done.
Yeah, too right. I think even if you're talking about the better ones on the mainland, I think the first leg is in the tail end of November, where we know there's a lot on offer, particularly here in Victoria. So it takes some sort of effort, that's for sure. But I think that's a great thing. I mean, something had to happen surrounding that Hobart 1000 and that period of time. I mean, once upon a time, it sort of had its own window as a Group 1 event, and now it's pretty chaotic through that part of the year. So I think this added incentive, along with the traditional prize money increases which they've put towards the Hobart 1000 as well as in the heats. The heats, I think, have just about doubled. Can only be a good thing for racing in Tasmania.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that wraps up the news. So that really just leaves us with race 6 from Wednesday at Wentworth Park to run through. So let's cross to the caller.
Set. And they're racing now. She's a Pearl bounced fast, just like the Pearl of old, straight to the lead. From Coco Model and Gatlin railed through, moved to second, and they speed away from Simply Limelight. So they're into the back straight, and it's She's a Pearl out by 2.5 on Gatlin, who's trying hard to reach her. They're 6 lengths Simply Limelight outside of Coco Model, but at the home turn, She's a Pearl clear of Gatlin. Stand and soak up a champion, the greatest prize money earner greyhound racing has ever seen. She's a Pearl. Historic. She beats Gatlin. Third, Simply Limelight. Coco Model at the rear. The time, 29.34.
That's why he gets the big dollars, folks. Outstanding rendition there of Pearl winning on Wednesday. No knock on Benny Hall's call at all, but we knew it cut Jacko up. They didn't get to call it, so it would have been a shame we never heard that, Jacko. That was outstanding. Let's get to the run of the week. And the run of the week this week, Pat, you'll love this. It's the half-brother to the great shrinkage, Father Rick, going within an ace of breaking the track record at Dapto on Thursday, 34.13. I was talking to one of the boys in Punters Bandit who runs second here, Jacko, just this morning, and she must have been thinking, what is going on here? I am flat stick and not making any ground here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've lost a few houses on this program, and I would have lost another one last week. I was certain when she got to second, only 2 lengths off Father Rick, that she would pick him up well before the home turn, but he just kept running, and I think that's around the second fastest 600 ever run at Dapto, which is quite hard to believe because there's been some serious dogs run over that distance.
So that'll roll us into the 2 heats of the Middle Distance Championship on Thursday. 25k to the winner of that final next week. Only 2 heats, not a full field, 7 in one, 8 in the other, Jacko, but heaps of quality. Really looking forward to that. The honourable mention, we get back down to Victoria for this one. And Patch, I'll come to you for comment here on Great Guy, who... Oh, he's almost like the second coming of Dookie Devil. Same sort of profile, having now hit middle distance racing, and look, he's a star, this boy.
He's looking pretty sharp, and for quite a period of time, Wiz, when I was churning through the Iceland Link splits, and he was lighting it up every week over 500 metres when it come to his run home. So to me, even when he was running, settling back in the field, so it was a matter of time before he stepped up to 600 metres and clearly suited by it. He's been terrific first up, and that was his second up run over 600. So who knows what's ahead of him, whether it's an urgent rise to 700. I'd say that's probably unlikely for a Boltree sort of setup, but probably more likely head to Sale for the Sale Cup. And I tell you what, there's a whole host of dogs fitting that bill at the moment going to target Sale. So that'll be a great series as it is year after year, and pat on the back to Rob Neocleus, who probably punches above his weight from a scale point of view to the success that he's had with his breed over the past few years. So good job to Robbie, and good job to Jacko as well with that call. And just before we wrap up, you got the totes there, Jacko, for that race?
Yeah, it was $1.04 the win, $1.04 the place. She's a Pearl. So at least you made some profit, Patch.
Should have boosted it, Patch. To get us to a break, sister, in fact, to the wonderfully named Zipping Patch. Zipping Senorita, she won her first race at Dapto the other day. Only start number 10, but it was the first winner for a young bloke, Tyler Ginn, who works for Marty Hallinan. So well done, Tyler.
Keeping. Zipping Senorita gets into a stalking position. Touch of Speed just in behind them. They're followed through by Rekka, Ruby, Dream Lover, Wellback, Trouble, Bubble. Last of all was Top Notch. Leader Carinya Mick, but up on the inside lurking. Big danger is Tracy Keeping. Getting to them, Touch of Speed, and Zipping Senorita comes wider. Leader on the outside. Zipping Senorita, 1 from 1, T-Gin.
The inaugural Dream Chasers Carnival kicked off at the Meadows on Saturday night with 3 Group 1 events run, 1 over each distance. Up first was the Hume Cup for the specialist middle distance greyhounds, and it was the only girl in the field who triumphed. Aston Velvet, trained by Michelle Malia-Magri and owned and bred by Ray Border, has now won 16 races with earnings closing in on $300,000.
Still Aston Velvet with a good lead. Pocket Money, the Queenslanders trying to knuckle down as they turn. Aston Velvet swings the leader clear in the Hume Cup. They're not going to catch her. Aston Velvet, a brilliant win by a length and a half, beating Pocket Money every chance. Third Wheel and Go, fourth Jarek Bale.
Michelle Marley, Aston Velvet, faultless. Did you come into tonight thinking she could do that? I think we all knew she was going to show pace, but to go on and win the race?
Oh, look, last week's performance was just amazing. So I just said to her, and I whispered her ear, just got to come out like you did last week, get out in front. We have to understand, like, she's a powerful 700-metre bitch. So on the bunny, she was always, they're going to have to work hard to pick her up, always. So that was a bonus.
And when she crossed the line, what were the emotions like? Did it? I mean, you won a Group 1 in the past with a Hobart 1000, but to pick one up tonight with this girl who's been so good for so long.
Oh, it was so good. Like, the emotions just go through. Like, I love doing these things. My dad taught me everything I know as well. So it's just a big thrill to be able to just get out there and do it. And for Ray Border, he's an amazing man to train dogs for.
Just about to ask about Ray. Obviously, you've had a connection with him and training his dogs. What's that like? Because we know he's someone who's pours a lot into the sport.
Look, he's just a true gentleman. Like, he'll ring me up and he'll just say, well done. And I'll ring him up and say, Ray, I've got a couple of spare kennels. He'll land a couple more in there for me. But he's just a true gentleman to speak to. And the dogs break down, they're out for a while. It just doesn't faze him. And he's a fantastic fella.
And will we see Velvet step back up to 700 metres?
Yeah, it could be. Well, obviously the Sale Cup will be a target for her at the moment, but I'll have to have a look what's around over the next few weeks.
Well, big night for you, Michelle. Pat yourself on the back.
Next, it was on to the distance dogs for the Group 1 Top Gun stayers. The scratching of New South Wales superstar Super Estrella left the race wide open, and it was the Vic Distance Championship winner, Moraine Susie, who got the call-up as first reserve, who prevailed. It continued a massive year for MDC winning trainer Brendan Purcell, who executed a superb training performance, with Susie first up for 2 months and too slick for her rivals.
The Sandown Cup champ led by a length, but here's Moraine Susie. The first reserve swarmed up on the outside turning. Moraine Susie strikes the lead, charged away, and that is a big Top Gun win. Moraine Susie by 3 lengths, Mapunga Ruby.
Well, Brendan, Moraine Susie, awesome tonight, and a good training performance by you as well. She had a month off, she was coming in fresh. You reckon that was probably the key to her performing so well tonight?
Yeah, I'm sort of hoping that. I mean, we just sort of went back and started again with her. We give her a week off after Sydney, and it was a little bit disappointed with her up there, and give her a week off. And we took her to the beach and just done a few different things with her, and then started again. Give her a couple of trials. The trials were terrific. So I wasn't 100% sure how she'd go, but look, she's gone like I was hoping she would go, and she looks like she's back to where she was before she went to Sydney. So it's good.
In running, when was it thought that we're going to win this race?
I thought down the back, I thought she's close enough. If she's good at, if she's going right and good enough, she's going to win. You know what I mean? And yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch the replay or anything yet, but yeah, I see she won by pretty comfortable. So yeah, it'd be good to go home and watch it.
She's owned by Peter Byrne. Talk us through the backstory, because I know you haven't had her for her whole racing career. So how did it come about for you to get her?
Yeah, Pete always gives me a couple of dogs, and he rang me and he said that he had one here. He said, look, give her a go. He said, look, she's got to stay in line in her. He said, see how she goes. And look, I can't fault her since we had her. She's just done everything right and just got better and better. So yeah, it's been a good ride, and he's such a terrific person and a good, easy person to train for. And yeah, it's just a great all around.
On a personal front too, mate, it's been a big couple of months with McInerney winning the $1 Million Chase, and now Moraine Susie winning a Top Gun Stayers. Do you pinch yourself, or does it soak in, or how does it feel cleaning up these big races?
Oh, look, it's what it's all about. This is what you're trying to achieve, aren't you? You know, like yeah, but I mean, I understand too. In 2 weeks' time, can be going the other way, falling down pretty quick. So we just got to take it when we can, and yeah, and ride the wave. And yeah, but it's just been a great time.
Finally, it was time for the sprinters, and it was another race decimated by scratchings, with Good Odds Cash and Orchestrate coming out, gifting runs to Photo Man and Amron Boy. Once again, it was a reserve runner who stole the show, with Flying Amy Classic hero Photo Man producing a career-best performance to annihilate his rivals.
Photo Man, a big leader in the Top Gun by 5 over McInerney. Vice Grip running on. Photo Man, he's all out, but he's clear. And Photo Man won the Top Gun. Photo Man by 2 lengths, McInerney.
Well, gave you behind the boxes when your boy Photo Man, or Jerry as you know him, went bang to start the Top Gun. How'd you feel?
Mate, super excited. I said I was putting him in the box. I said, Jerry, if we're ever going to ask you to come out of the box, it's tonight, mate. And he did. He began like a rocket. And from behind you can't see too much. I just thought, well, I sort of half shut my eyes and I thought, wonder where you are. When I opened my eyes up through the catching pen, and he was 3 in front. And I said the day before the race, because we went into the race probably half a run short, if you want the truth. We had problems with split webbing and all sorts of stuff going on. And then I said, we've got to be 3 in front, mate. And we looked up and we're 3 in front, and I couldn't believe it. And, oh, man, going by the 600, I swore. I apologise to everyone who was behind the boxes. And going past me, he was home, and just elation, mate. Yeah, just lost for words, really. Just fantastic, fantastic. He's a super dog. He just does everything right. He's calm all the time. He comes to the races and puts it all together, you know. Fantastic. He's won 4 in 4 states in the last 6 months, you know, and big races too. So, yeah, no, he's a super dog.
Dave McKenzie, your coach-trained photo man, and it's been a memorable night for yourself and Gav. I'm sure it's the highlight of your training career. To sum it up in words how special this occasion and achievement is.
Mate, I'm lost for words, Jason. It's just incredible. Gav and I have been through so much over the years. And as we said before, to get a good dog like Photo Man, and it's unbelievable, mate. It's a bit surreal, really can't describe, but such a buzz. The emotions inside here are unbelievable. It's what we do it for. It's why we love it, greyhound racing. It does it for you. That's right. These sort of races, mate, they're gold, yeah.
Well, Gav was behind the boxes. You were upstairs. When the lid's open, you saw him come out.
Yeah.
What went through your mind?
Yeah, when he come out like that, I knew he'd have to. I said to everybody, the kids were here and everything, I said, look, he's got to come out in these Group 1 races. And he come out, he nailed the start. And then Ron Boy went left a bit, which we knew he probably would, and he had a clear going. And when he went past us at the winning post the first time, I said to my daughter, I think there's a chance here. And then when he skipped away up the back, the heart started going, and we all started screaming, and we just cheered him home. Yeah, terrific. You know, unbelievable to have all my kids here and family and Gav, and Gav's got his kids here as well. So it's a big team effort. You know, we just couldn't be happier, Jason. Yeah, it's so good, mate.
Does part of it feel like destiny? I know when the fields were announced, you as a team were understandably frustrated that he was left out. He's found his way in. He's won the race. So yeah, it seems to be the destiny and sort of,
absolutely,
well, we got him.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, what it is what it is. I mean, the panel's formed and they picked the dogs for the Top Gun, and what it is what it is. And you know, I know probably Gav was a little bit upset when we missed out and running a first reserve, but I just said to him, look, we've got to box on. We're trying to prepare him for the Melbourne Cup heats as well. So we prepared him as though he was going to be in the race. So I brought him here and give him a couple of trips around here, and he went super. So we prepared him as though he was going to be in the race, as you have to do. And fortunately, there was a scratching, and we got our chance. And yeah, the rest is history. So yeah, unbelievable, really.
And you two blokes, I know, are probably the last to pat yourselves on the back, but you should, because you've invested a lot in the sport, and it's really good to see the sport giving some back. It's been, I guess, a lot of investment, hasn't it, from a setup point of view at your property, and I guess the battles you've had with different dogs over the years, but to now have one like you must be just incredible.
Oh, look, it's just made it, Jace. Gav and I started off with one dog, and we bought him for $2,000. We won a race with him, sold him for $5,000, and we bought 2 pups, and so on and so on. And every time we'd win a race, both Gav and I both work, so every time we win a race, whether at Warragul or we happen to get one at Sandown, we'd buy more fences, more wire, build some roofs over our empty yards, and just keep building our infrastructure. It's taken us a long while to get there, but then to get a dog like this is just so rewarding. And yeah, it's why we do it. We've always loved it, and always loved the thrill of racing, and love the dogs as well. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you do get one like this, that's for sure.
There we go, a big night there at the Meadows to open up the Dream Chasers Carnival, and yeah, a couple of good guys, Gav and Dave, taking out the feature there with Photo Man. We'll touch on the main race first of all. Patch, I'll come to you for a quick comment. You're obviously pretty close with the two boys, so yeah, no doubt would have been a big night for them, and plenty of celebrations, and well deserved too.
Yeah, indeed it was, and I haven't gotten word on how they did. What sort of style they did celebrating, but I'm sure they did it properly, and yeah, big occasion for them. And I mean, Dave mentioned they both work. Gav's a radiologist at Dandenong Hospital, and Dave has been growing apples down Tynong way. So for them, they work hard, and I'm sure as time goes on and they get these sort of results, their investment in the sport's only going to grow. So I'm sure everyone, especially down the Gippsland region of Victoria, will be thrilled with the result and the performance of Photo Man. I guess we can touch on some of the other runners in the field. Wiz, I mean, one we were quite optimistic about, Zippy Tesla, just didn't get the run that he needed. He was in all sorts early, and then Wowshe's Fast, who clearly was the favourite, and just had her momentum cut halfway up the straight. She didn't begin well enough to assert herself in a real dominant position, and then she found herself underneath Tesla down the back, who we know doesn't hold back for anyone, and put her straight into the fence. So look, a couple of hard luck stories, but in the end, it was Photo Man too good.
Yeah, I'll come to you for a comment here, Jack. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You can give me your own opinion, but I thought if there was a hard luck story in the race, it was clearly Vice Grip. You know, the widest runner in Australia drawn underneath him, McInerney. He all but crossed him going through the pen, Vice Grip. If he gets a clear second there, I think he wins the race. If they were drawn the other way around, I think he wins the race. He just continues to keep on keeping on. I know he's one of your favourite dogs, and we wrap him up a lot on this show. I just don't think he gets the raps he deserves.
Yeah, he was outstanding last week, as you touched on when we were just looking at the replay. He was almost past McInerney, and then once McInerney kept him on his outside, you knew you were in probably a little bit of trouble there.
And as much as McInerney was a hindrance to Vice Grip, it was vice versa as well. I think had they both drawn around the other way, they may well have run 1 and 2, but who knows, of course, all honours with Photo Man. There were a couple of other features last week, and one of them clearly pertains to the shootout. Now the shootout that field will be selected, and Patch will confirm, I think, tomorrow. The race, of course, runs Saturday night, Patch. McInerney, we know, is confirmed at this stage, as is Photo Man, but I would have thought one of the key contenders, especially off the back of this win here on Monday, is Kelsey Bale, Patch. Her win here in the Silver Bullet from box 5 was outstanding, and it really just backs up what was arguably one of the most unlucky performances in a Group 1 this year, when she ran 3rd in the maturity and arguably should have beaten, well, she's fast in that.
Yeah, massive run, just absolutely massive. And she began well, so it's good to see her beginning well, because we know at the start of her career, she was a lead pinger who got a bit weak late in the race, and now she's just turned into really the complete package after this run. She was burnt for speed, or just sort of cut up with momentum early on, and then she's running down good dogs like Amron Boy and also Titan Blazer out in front. And to run the time that she did, massive performance, and that's got to go down as one of the biggest wins of the year.
Yeah, you don't see too many dogs run 56 coming from that far off the pace, Jacko, that's for sure. I'll come to you. There was a trial, there were a couple of trials actually on Sunday. We should mention the fact that Throttle trialled unofficially, 29.03. Unfortunately, he's pulled up lame subsequently, so it looks like he's out of the carnival for the foreseeable future in any case. But one of the Sydney Star dogs went down there, Gatlin. I think we've got a little bit of colour here, which we can roll tape on. 5.03, 18.55, so some stunning splits, Jacko, and 29.31 overall is a good representation of his form and ability.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen him at Wentworth Park in the past. I think his best is around 29.28 here, so we know he can run. He probably got a little bit tired late, but I guess if you take a line through his previous run where he chased home She's a Pearl, it certainly, I guess, adds a little bit with the unknown of when we'll see Pearl in Melbourne. But yeah, 29.31 first look at Sandown's a really good gallop, and if he can improve off that and draw well, he's certainly got the ability to be a big player throughout the Melbourne Cup Carnival.
For sure and certain. Let's have a look at a market for the Melbourne Cup, because it has taken on a different shape in the last week or so. There wasn't a lot of attention paid to it sort of pre-Top Gun, and obviously Pearl's win on Wednesdays meant that the markets had to be shaken up, and she's now equal favourite with how she's fast. There's a few dogs there underneath that are perennial at the top of pretty much every market going around at the moment, Jacko. The dog on the bottom there, Baby JC, is a dog we should just mention. He won on Sunday in a race that I joked to Patch came up like a prelude of the Melbourne Cup, just run on a Sunday. Stunning field. We had dogs of the ilk of Eldorado, Zipping Orlando and Co go round here. 29.34. If there's one little drawback with her, it seems she's just stalled with her progression, Jacko. Her times aren't getting any quicker. Not the 29.34 slow, but she just doesn't seem to be able to get under 30. I think she's replicated this time 3 or 4 times now. Yeah, whether that's she's getting to the end of what's been a long campaign, and we all know when that campaign did start. So it's been a long campaign. Is she getting towards the end, or is 29.30 as good as she can go? Yep. So I guess we will find out in the next few weeks, but all she can do is win, and that's what she's been doing. Yeah, by all means. All right, that wraps up that segment. To get us to a break, one of the other features on Saturday night was the GRV Vic Bred final, and it was taken out by Fred Rose, who just continued on the theme of the night, another reserve.
Scofflaw in the run to the first corner. So Inner Blue camps the leader. A length and a half to Scofflaw, who's in the nice trail going through the first bend. Threat Rose a length away third. Then Jackpot Joan, Rock Me Rocco, Benella Bandits a fair way back with Here Comes Pie and Cash It In last. Inner Blue the leader, led a length Scofflaw, who's just been shoved out of the way by Fred Rose, who's bursting home. Inner Blue all out, gathered in by Fred Rose. Jackpot Joan the rail, Fred Rose got there.
Group 1 prize money will be on offer in the Sunshine State this Thursday in the TAB Ipswich Cup, the fastest qualifier being Nando Dreamer. The series attracted some of the hottest chasers in Queensland, but there were plenty of upsets in the heats. Big guns Hara Sky, Black Comanche and DeFerrin all failing to qualify for the $100,000 to the winner event.
DeFerrin comes up 3 wide, but Nando Dreamer's got a break. Here's another upset. Nando Dreamer comes away, 4 lengths Yuko Girl DeFerrin.
Yeah, the Ipswich Cup final will be run and won on Thursday. Group 2 this year. I think it goes to Group 1 next year. It's Group 1 prize money, that's for sure. Hara's Herbie, $2.30. Your Fab ahead of Sunburst, $4. And Yuko Girl at $5.50. So big week for the Snow Camp. Come on, Aussie won there at Ipswich. The only loser they had last week in the first part in any case. Pocket Money, of course, won his heat of the Hume Cup. Shipwreck was... Well, enormous. It was enormous winning and then horrendously unlucky, wasn't he? And then Come On Aussie came out and made the Ipswich Cup final. OO range, a little bit disappointing, I guess, in the Top Gun. But yeah, big week for the Snows, as we said. I think one of the key chances in this year's Ipswich Cup is Sunburst. And we've got, should we call him co-trainer, Tommy Savalas on the line. Of course, all in Jetta Cutlak's name these days. But Tommy, thanks for coming on, mate. Sunburst, I know a lot of people think of her more as a 7, maybe a 600 metre bitch, but she goes unbelievably well 500 at Ipswich, doesn't she?
Yeah. I'm just an average handler these days, mate. She's got a love affair with Ipswich, that dog. I think she's won 7 or 8 out of 10 there, and just always runs a good, honest race there.
Now, Tommy, of course, the Ipswich Cup is a time-honoured race. You won this back in 2003 with Freedom Bale. Where would you compare the two greyhounds, and if so, is there a big difference between them, and also what would it mean to win the Ipswich Cup?
Home track cups are always good to win, and this will be the biggest race Jetta's ever won, so it'd be nice for the camp if it can get done. But yeah, Freedom Bale, he was a good handy dog. Unfortunately, he got to see the back of Bogey Lee a lot. Tony could have got him for stalk, and he ran second to her that many times. He was a good, honest dog, but Sunburst is more versatile, can run any sort of distance. Her box manners are really what put her into the races, and that's what she's got to do on Thursday night, is jump, because she can get a little bit outpaced down the middle. So in the middle straight, middle section, her early speed is really key. And
of course, if you win the Ipswich Cup on Thursday, you automatically go through to the Queensland Flame. Then if you can qualify from there, you'll get a spot in the Phoenix in Melbourne. Do you and Jetta allow yourself to dream of what could be?
To be honest, I don't think either of us knew that. So, look, that'd be handy. I mean, it's like everything else. You always want to try and aim for any race that you go in. Then the bigger the race, the better. Unless you have a go, you'll never win them. So, the idea is put them in, hope for the best, and if she can get through to the Queensland Flame, it'd be nice. She likes Albion Park, so, and then if she was lucky enough to get through to Melbourne, well, you'd be happy to take the trip down there. That's for sure. Jace knows I don't mind a trip away here or there.
Goes well on the road, Tommy Savalas, don't worry. With the white shorts on, he's outstanding. I'll just jump in front of Patch, because I just want to ask a question in relation to the answer you just gave, Jacko. Just with her early pace, Tommy, you're right. She just have a flat spot probably at the end of her first section. The great thing about the draw for her, and I think importantly, she's drawn underneath Yuko Girl.
Correct. I mean, Yuko Girl's going to be the big improver in the race. I mean, as well drawn as the red is in the race and looks the dog to beat, you can't underestimate Yuko Girl, because never had a look at the track, I'm pretty sure, before last week, and Ipswich isn't the one of those tracks that you can sort of just go there and win first up. It's always much better to have a look. So, yeah, the early speed Yuko girls we've got to hold her early. And the sections were pretty similar. I think Yuko was slightly faster. But if we're on the inside of her, and I'd say that's probably the right side to be of Yuko girl, it puts us in with the show.
And Tom, give us an insight from a training point of view with Sunburst. She's obviously done a lot of her racing over 600, 700 metres. From a preparation point of view, do you do a lot different to keep her fresh, to either get her away a bit better or show a bit more rally pace? Is there any sort of strategy behind that?
No, she's one of those dogs that just free gallops like normal. She doesn't seem to matter what you do with her, so she just has a normal routine, and our dog's just free galloping between races, and she's pulled up well. Jetta's happy with her, and we're ready to go.
And so more from a, I guess, programming and feature race point of view up there, we see quite a significant sum of money given to runners 5th to 8th in this Ipswich Cup final. Is that something that you'd like to see rolled out at other feature races, not only in Queensland but around the country, or you more prefer to keep it with those on the podium?
Oh, I could start a drama here, because the placing money in New South Wales group races leaves a lot to be desired. The feature race wins a super, but yeah, they sort of lack a little bit in the placings and the unplaced for that matter. But in saying that, I mean, like, if you're lucky enough to get in those races and win them, you're not complaining, I guess, are you? But it is nice to see when it's pretty well balanced.
Beautiful, mate. I think she's a super chance. I think she's probably a fractionally over the odds as well. So if you want to get involved, yeah, I could give you a good push for Sunburst, mate. All the best to you and to Jetta on Saturday night, mate. The team's going well. Keep it going.
Thursday night, Jace, but yeah, thanks, mate.
As long as you show up on the right night, that's all that matters, Tommy. So Thursday night Ipswich is. I'm just used to Ipswich being Saturday nights, of course, Jacko. Our kennel keeper for this week, strangely enough, this dog's mum was a kennel keeper a couple of years ago, Jacko, Rockin' Georgia. She was the first dog to ever break 22 seconds over the short course at Gosford. This is her son, Okeechobee Road, running fast time at Richmond the other day.
Firefly Milo, followed by Miss India Breakaway. Then came Ski Slap a long way back with Blue Moon as they come to the bend, and Okeechobee Road is bolted clear. Must be 9 lengths in front of Slingshot Roxy, and he absolutely brains them.
The biggest week on the Kiwi racing calendar has arrived, and the Greyhounds get their chance in the spotlight on Thursday in the prestigious New Zealand Cup. Top-class chaser Opawa Superstar will be out to add another trophy to his cabinet when he jumps from box 8, bringing up win 26 with a best-of-the-night semi-final performance.
And Speedy Sue now tailed off, but it's the Superstar. Towards the corner he comes. He's away by 5. Will make it 6. He's getting away, Superstar. He's too good. Beats Majestic Legend.
Is Opawa Superstar winning in blistering time, Jacko, 29.69. We just were confirming the track record. Still held by Bago Bye-Bye at 29.59, so they don't get down to that sort of mark too often.
No, they don't. He's a greyhound we've heard a fair bit about this year, courtesy of our friend Liz Whelan. She seems to talk about him most weeks, but yeah, he's, like his name suggests, a superstar over there, and he'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, and as you can see from the market, if you want to back him, he's not the favourite. Federal Infrared is at this stage at 2.25. We've got a special guest joining us to talk all things New Zealand greyhound racing, Katie Wiley, who is the kennel rep for Dave Fahey. And we did ask Dave to come on, Katie, but he had some more pressing engagements at Cup Week. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a big week, Cup Week, for the uninitiated, those that haven't been over there. Give us a bit of a rundown of how big it is and what it means to the racing industry in New Zealand, all 3 codes.
So it's a prestigious week in New Zealand. Everyone looks forward to it. You know, you've got the gallops at Riccarton, you've got the trots at Addington, and then you've got the dogs on a Thursday at Addington. Yeah, so a big week, of course, for the 3 codes, those feature races, as you said. You guys have got 3 really good chances in the Cup. We'll go through them. You've got Opawa Warrior, Opawa Superstar and Mrs. Chin. We just watched the win of Opawa Superstar in stunning time, 29.69. You guys must be stoked with how he's going. Yeah, we were so thrilled. I don't think we were expecting anything like that time-wise. You know, it's only his third run back from a massive spell, you know, a wee injury niggle. So, you know, we were thrilled.
And we're about to see some vision of Opawa Superstar here, Katie, winning the Auckland Cup. He won that race from box 3. We saw him win the heat from box 7 last week. He's got box 8 on Thursday. Does box draws really make a difference for him, or is pretty adept from wherever he draws?
I think we like him to be drawn out wide so that he misses all the trouble that can be from those inside boxes, because usually he jumps and runs, but you know, from out wide you tend to miss the trouble. Although I think this week Majestic Legend tends to run off a little bit, so he's going to have to be wary of him, and he's going to have to jump and run.
We're now going to have a look at the heat win of Mustang Charlie, and of course a familiar name for a lot of followers of Victorian racing, where he clearly started his career as a really fast dog before an indiscretion meant that he resumed his racing career in New Zealand. But Katie, the one we're going to concentrate on is the runner-up in this heat to Mustang Charlie, and that's Mrs. Chin. Tell us a bit about her and sort of the profile of her racing career and how she fits in at the kennel.
Look, it was a massive surprise for us to qualify her. It was a last-minute decision from Dave to actually nominate her, being a C3 chaser. But she's young, she's getting stronger each time, and Jean and Dave bred her, so it's a massive thrill for us to have her in the cup. Her mum was a super bitch, she's a ripper, and whatever she does on Thursday night will be a bonus.
Now, Katie, in the Galaxy Sprint, you've got Opawa rider who's won 14 of 25, just continues to get better and better. Just touch on him, and also on his sire, American Warrior. I believe you stand him yourself.
He's been Ryder's been going super. I'm a bit worried about his draw on Thursday night, just because number 3 Opawa Barnes, he tends to hit that rail pretty hard. So Ryder's going to either have to jump and run and miss Opawa Barnes, or he's going to have to be slow away and be running Barnes down. Hey, look, I'm thrilled to be standing American Warrior at stud. He's going super. He hasn't really had a lot of chances here and opportunities here in New Zealand, but with limited opportunities, he's going super. And just a massive thank you to everybody who has given him the chance as a stud dog.
Yeah, very, very fast dog. Of course, he kicked off his career in Australia as well. And just lastly, Katie, before we let you go, the other feature race will be the New Zealand Distance Cup, and you've got Centurion engaged there. Now, you've got to take on the might of No Keeper, who we know knocked off the track record there on the weekend. Is there any chance that you can cause the boil over here?
For Centurion to be any chance, he needs to jump and run, which he has done his last few starts actually. So he's found some box speed, and he will need to be in front of No Keeper to be any chance. I think running second would be super for him. Yeah.
All right, well, as I said, thank you very, very much for your time, because we know what a busy week it is for you guys and the team, Dave and Jean as well. Bit of a shame we didn't get to see you over here this year with Opawa Superstar, but hopefully at some stage in the future we will get to see you guys over here with some of your good dogs. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And there's Katie Wiley, who is representing Dave and Jean Fay. To take us to a break, and we will have a look at the performance of No Keeper, who ran 42.62 to win his heat of the New Zealand distance.
Racing, he comes out running. No Keeper straight to the lead. He's 3 or 4 in front already. Rohan Bale gives chase. We go back to Aline Bale, and last of all is Nighthawk Style, but it's Big Kevy Boy. He's picking them up and putting them down with a circuit left to make. He's 3 or 4 in front of Rohan Bale. There's a space away to Aline Bale, and Nighthawk Style is last as they cruise into the back, and it's No Keeper. He's doing it easy. He's 3 in front. He starts to extend. Will make it 4 on Rohan Bale, and behind them Aline Bale and Nighthawk Style struggling to stay with them, but it's Big No Keeper. He starts to assert his authority. He's away by 6, by 7. He's racing away. No Keeper too slick.
We start this week's wrap in the Apple Isle, where the Tasmanian Gold Cup was run on Thursday evening. Top honours went the way of Nalem Fencer, a son of Aston Deeby, who made it 3 on the trot and 21 career wins all up.
Then Run Red Run and further back Lock and Loaded, but he's low flying. Dale and Fence is going to win again and by a space, about 8 lengths on the line.
Next, we head to Wagga Wagga on Friday evening, where 3 qualifiers will run of the Bidgie Cup. Ashley Dwyer landed 2 of the heats, including the fastest winner, Special Blend, and his brother's Charlie Jar. It's been a super litter for Dwyer, boasting 55 wins and 82 placings and more than $250,000.
Now Special Blend loomed up at its outside. Special Blend, the outside race to the lead, drew away to win it from Tom's at stretch second.
The next day we venture west for the Canning Show Cup over the middle distance journey. While his brother Vice Grip was busy running third in the Group 1 Top Gun, Paul Stewart's ultra-consistent Rosted Off brought up another feature win of his own, taking his earnings over $212,000.
Rosted Off in front, and Rosted Off takes out the Canning Show Cup at start number 50 at Cannington.
And finally, it's back to Victoria on Sunday, where Unleashed Kalinda produced a brilliant performance, breaking the straight record when scoring his 9th win at start 16.
Unleashed Kalinda just went straight past them. Then Clandestine, Peppy Power, Wild Bob at the rear. Unleashed Kalinda, keep an eye on the clock, stretches right out and goes 16.24. My goodness.
Yeah, Unleashed Kalinda, 16.20. The clock finally stopped at to record new figures there. We'll get some of the highlights from the boys in a second. There's a market for the Bidgie Cup finally. You saw Special Blend win that heat, and Jack and I were just talking while the replays were rolling. Veda Bale, she won the one earlier in the Graham Hull.
The Graham Hull Memorial, yeah.
So she's got some good track and distance stats as well. Patch, I'll come to you for a comment on any of those greyhounds that we just saw then, or anything else that strikes your fancy.
Yeah, well, firstly, Unleashed Kalinda, huge. I mean, the second half of that race visually took off like a rocket. So superb performance, and again, another achievement for the whole Kalinda line, who's had a really big 24 months. And then Rosted Off, his little brother, as we heard in the package then, is Vice Grip. So pat on the back to Grant and Glenn Pask, who have done a great job with their line over the past few years. They've produced a Sandown Cup winner in Balzeringen, and since then, obviously, a lot of success has followed. So congratulations to everyone involved there.
Yeah, good point that Patch makes there about Unleashed Kalinda. I mean, such a fast line it is. Mr. Audacious, of course, comes for it. He holds a couple of track records in Victoria. Kalinda Paddy holds the track record still, I think, at Sandown over the 595. So it's a family that's, well, certainly renowned for speed, Jacko, let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I think I was reading somewhere 4 track records.
That's stunning.
Yeah, there wouldn't be too many litters that have produced, I guess, a record like that.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the hot topic. And nothing, well, I say nothing controversial. This is likely to be very controversial. Who would you pick in the shootout field? I asked Kat what, we should give Kat a shout out too. She had a bit of an operation during the week, so I hope that hopefully she's feeling well and back on deck next week, because we don't want her having days off when we don't get them. Yeah, the 4 dogs. She said just go for it. Assume that Throttle's not lame, etc., etc. So the 4 that I came up with, in an ideal world, were Wow, She's Fast, She's a Pearl, Throttle, and Shipwreck. They were the 4 that I'd like to see in the shootout myself. Jacko, what about you?
Yeah, they're 4 outstanding greyhounds in themselves. I think, well, Wow, She's Fast and She's a Pearl have captured the wider audience in greyhound racing the past 12 months. So they just picked themselves. So they were, obviously, there was talk of them having a match race, so they both have to go in. I might go slightly different, even coming from a Western Australian perspective, but slightly different. I'd put Vice Grip in, just for the fact that he's probably got more speed early than Throttle, but he's still powerful late. He does have a win fair and square over Wow, She's Fast. So I think I would put him in. And the other one, a little bit of a wild card, just off what she did last week, is Kelsey Bale. Just with, I guess, as we've seen her get stronger and stronger, she might be one that could just camp just off the speed, and if she could produce a finish like she did last week, she'd be dangerous.
There's every chance she might well be in the final field. Patch, what do you say? Ideal world, obviously, assuming they're all fit, ready to go.
Yeah, well, you're going to say push me off the fence, but I'm not sure I should comment too much, being a part of the whole process. But look, obviously half the field's sewn up already this time around with Photo Man and And also McInerney, of course, when GRV announced the upkeep in prize money for the shootout, there was a condition added as well about the MDC winners and also the Top Gun winner, which I'm sure will be reassessed next time around. But, I mean, open slather, you could come up with a field that'd be certainly highly debated, which it probably already will be. But, yeah, clearly a lot of fast dogs around. And to me personally, that is the format of the shootout. It's fast dogs and seeing what they can do, and the cherry on top's obviously going against each other. Yeah, and I think one of the conditions is actually, I think, written up really well, and it's in the opinion of the grader, the dog best suited to a 4-dog race. So I actually like that condition. Seeing as though you sat on the fence there, Patch, I'll come back to you just for a quick comment here. I know it's something we have touched on before. The prize money for the shootout is outstanding. I mean, $75,000 race for 4 dogs, $50,000 to the winner. And I mean, we've debated ad nauseum this year already, haven't we, about minimum prize money levels for Group 1s. It seems extraordinary that dogs will go around at Dapto in a couple of weeks' time for the same money. Yeah, it's good prize money. I guess that was the whole thinking about elevating the status of the shootout. It once was a $50,000 winner-take-all. It then was come back to a $25,000 winner-take-all, where the status that the remainder of prize money is at these days, there was reason to skip it and just concentrate on a Melbourne Cup heat, which wasn't obviously ideal for what's essentially a bit of a novelty race in the shootout. So that's why that GRV in particular wanted to sort of upkeep the prize money, which makes it a feature night for the whole Dream Chasers Carnival, which is exactly what it is. So yeah, we'll see how the shootout evolves, but I think prize money's got to meet the demands that you want the race to be, and that is have the best part of it, and then wanting to take that opportunity to be in it rather than just skip it, take a week off, and then head into Melbourne Cup heats fresh. Yeah, no, I agree with you on all levels there, Patch. I think, yeah, it's got to be aspirational, doesn't it, on all levels. Let's have a look at the Dog Diary. Pardon me. Heats of the Middle Distance Championship. We spoke about that, didn't we, a little bit earlier, Jacko? That comes up on Thursday. Ipswich Cup final is on Thursday, not on Saturday, as we were told earlier. And of course, the 3 Group 1s from Addington, the New Zealand Cup, the Galaxy Sprint and the Distance Cup final. Friday at Wagga will be the Bidgie Cup, and then all roads will lead to Sandown for Saturday night, the Group 3 shootout final, and the Young Star Classic will come up a little bit later on that night from Cannington. So there we are. Absolutely super week unfolding, Jacko, and yeah, once the shootout's run and won there on Saturday, we're right into the nitty gritty then of Melbourne Cup Carnival, mate. So yeah, thanks for your help today. What will the rest of the week look like for you?
Nah, pretty quiet week for me. Stock Standard Wenny Park Wednesday, Saturday, and Dapto Thursday for the Middle Distance Championship heat. So really looking forward to that. Only 2, but they're full of quality, as you touched on before. No doubt it'll be a lot busier for you though, Patch, especially the next, well, I guess the next 3 or 4 weeks in any case. Yeah, dead set enormous, but looking forward to kicking it all off Saturday. Top Gun was great. Now we head into the shootout, and I saw there's 50 nominations at the moment for the last round of preludes as well. So even outside of the shootout, it's going to be real deep in quality the whole race meeting. And we move on to the heats, and Wiz, I've got to plug something as well. There's a Calcutta on heats night, and I know you're the absolute pro of Calcuttas, so you're welcome to come down and get involved, mate. I'm the pro of running them, actually, Patch, so maybe you should get me down next year to do that. I've been running the one at West Leagues for the last 4 years, Jacko, and every year we've recorded a record prize money level, so we keep kicking there. I can't get the winner of the race, but anyway, I'm doing the job behind the gavel and anvil, or whatever you call it in any case. That takes us away from the pen this week. Good luck, good punting. See you next week.